All right. Good morning, everybody. Welcome to this edition of the Daily Market Commentary. I'm your host, Chuck Fulkerson. Hope you guys are having a phenomenal day as we are taking a look at the markets, identifying potential breakouts and reversals from an educational perspective, as we are up about 38 points today in the S&P overall, up about 138 in the NASDAQ and up 20 in the Russell. Does that mean that the downtrend is over? No, that does not mean the downtrend is over. All that means is that we are taking a little bit of a break, and we're not finding a tremendous amount of trade opportunities today, but we will take a look and see what's available. If you're new to the channel, do me a favor, click the subscribe button, hit the notification bell so that you see when we go live. We do these live sessions a couple times a week. And if you are watching us live on YouTube, please feel free to type in any questions that you have into the chat window so I can make sure that I get as many of those answered as possible. All right, let's go ahead and dive in. We don't have too much to cover today as we are sitting in a little bit of a sideways price action market. Not a whole lot to lean on. So starting first with the S&P, our 4-hour trend is indeed certainly still down. Very strong downward trend is continuing. But we did see yesterday that we put in that new low, but it wasn't a shockingly new low, and we had that happen, kind of earlier in the day, and then we rallied up and are just kind of in an area where we could see a little bit of a bounce. Now, I'm not willing to get a long in anytime soon, but as I look at the levels above me and I look at my supply areas above me, starting with the hourly chart, I don't have anything super clean or anything to lean on from an hourly perspective. I've got this little level here, but that's kind of a retest of this area here to the left. I've got a couple of 15-minute levels up above me to pay attention to, and this is the little base drop that I certainly want to pay attention to, and then this gap fill area from Sunday night, as we are still down from the Sunday night gap. But overall, I think that these are okay levels, not amazing because they're on 15-minute charts. We have rallied up right around the London Open, which is usually going to be a pretty good opportunity for a long entry. And then this would be essentially our Globex low. And so even if you break below that Globex low, you've got a little bit of a potential for a bear trap. So I just don't think there's a lot of short-term equity opportunities today from the futures markets. There's certainly going to be short-term equity opportunities in some of the individual listings, some of the individual securities. But this, to me, is a really tough sledding kind of trading day. If you really want to force a trade, you can look to the origin of this move right through here. If you really want to force something, but just know that you will be trading counter trend in this environment. So it has to be a confirmation entry, but it is a valid level nonetheless, as it's the origin of a pretty strong move higher. So the next level that I would take a look at would be in the NASDAQ. And in the NASDAQ yesterday, we talked about a potential breakout in the NASDAQ. For those of you that were in the live trade room yesterday, we talked about a potential NASDAQ breakout if we got above this area here. Now, you can still see the blue box that we had indicating where we needed basing. We certainly didn't get any basing, which is why that breakout didn't really do much. And so looking at it from today's perspective, we've got a little bit of a level on top of a level on these 15-minute zones. I'm going to leave just the top level intact because I think the top level is probably going to be the one that I'm going to pay the most attention to from this point going forward. And so because it's the gap fill area. Now, looking at this on a 1-hour chart, what quality areas of supply above me, do I have? Your best level is way up here at this drop base, very strong, almost parabolic move down, right? Those are going to be the best levels for me to look for. It's going to be the origins of very strong, very extreme moves to the downside. And those are the ones that I pay the most attention to. Now, from the perspective of, can I find a good trade in here on the hourly chart? As I look up and to the left to my areas of supply, I don't really have anything to lean on. and we're actually sitting pretty close to what could be a potential upside breakout on here. Now, my 4-hour chart certainly still down, but I will throw on, let's take a very quick look at our momentum indicator. My momentum indicator hasn't given me a true shift of momentum as of yet either. Let me throw my RSI on here. So slightly higher lows in the RSI, giving me a little bit of a momentum shift indication. So it is worth considering that we could have something coming up from an RSI shift perspective. But, I'm still going to be very much camped on the short side of the market until told otherwise. But if you're looking for an intraday trade, you may have a little 15-minute breakout right here, provided that we get quality basing, because we've got a couple of decent touches and no real supply above it to act as a trap. Looking at the Russell 2000, the Russell yesterday, we talked about a breakdown below this line here. We did get a little breakdown in the Russell yesterday, and the Russell also looking like the other markets. There's not a whole lot of tradable material close by. Unless you want to give this a shot right through here. If you want to give this a shot right here, I think there you've got a little bit of tradable opportunity on a pullback down into this region to potentially see price move a bit higher from here. Moving over to our energies and metals, starting first with crude oil. So crude oil yesterday, we looked at a level. Hopefully, those of you that were in the live trade room were able to catch this. We looked at this short coming off of this area in here. This was a really nice short, as it did give us a run down to our opposing demand, which then gave us a little bit of an entry to rally up. Now, that entry we got on a rally up gave us the entry 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 candles later. We'd gone basically nowhere, telling you, hey, this probably isn't going to work really well. You might want to consider getting out of this trade. And so then the next time it popped right through the zone. 6 candle rule in full effect. So now looking at today, our 4-hour trend, I do have a slightly lower low and lower high. And so I can look at good shorting opportunities. Unfortunately, on the 1-hour chart, the shorting opportunity that we're coming into is the level that we tested yesterday, telling me that that level's probably not one I want to use again. So my next area of supply is at this 106.32 by 107.07. Looking at current price, I don't really have, even on a 15-minute chart, a great level to short. So I'm thinking if I wanted to get long, it would have to be a breakout above some of these highs. I just don't have a lot of great opportunity here. I really don't. My best level is the one up here where I've got this rally base, very strong drop at 106.32 by 107.07. But until then, don't force it. Allow that thing to come to you and look for tradable opportunities in there. Looking at gold, we had talked about a potential breakdown below 1852. We did get a pretty good bit of basing right through here. We didn't get a lot of basing here on the breakdown, so I don't fault you if you didn't take it. We are, however, coming back to a fairly clean wick over wick level. So keep an eye on that as we are setting up for the next potential leg down off of this rollover. You may want to go candle to candle short up here if we don't make it all the way back into that region. So those would be kind of the main markets I'm looking at. We also have in the euro, we're still humming just above this potential breakdown level. No major movements as of yet. We have seen lately in the yen. We looked at the yen yesterday and talked about what are some areas where we might see a bit of a movement, and I would look for a breakdown below this line here. We've got some supply. I'm saying, yeah, it's the Aussie. We've got some supply up above us. The yen, I'm looking for the breakdown below this line here because that's the number on my daily chart. So keep an eye on that in the yen, and then this area here on a breakdown in the Aussie. That's question would be is do we see strength in the US dollar for all of these currency breakdowns in order to occur? Taking a look real quick at crypto for those of you that are still looking at your Ether and Bitcoin futures. We have we dropped below 30,000 in Bitcoin for the first time in a long time, and we're sitting just at some prior support. So sitting at that prior support, the question is, do we base and then drop below there? We've got some pretty good supply up above us, but really nothing on a short term that's a great setup. In Ether, we did actually hit our supply level, got a nice little move down. We're now trading into it for the second time. And so I think you're actually probably better off in Ethereum on looking for this breakout up above here on those mini Ether futures. I think that's about all I have for today. Unless anybody's got a specific question, please feel free to let me know. Thanks so much for joining us today. If you guys have any questions, shoot us an email, support@tradersarmy.com. Until tomorrow, everybody, I will talk to you soon. See ya.